And these are the final live images coming to you from the capital of Israel in Tel Aviv. Prime Minister Modi saying his farewells to his new buddy, his new friend, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel. Over the last 72 hours, these two statesmen have created history. This is the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Israel. And after 72 hours, where these two men have scarcely left each other's side, they're bidding each other farewell. Namo and Bibi are saying goodbye to each other, but they will be meeting again soon with Netanyahu to visit India, perhaps later this year. It's been one of the most hectic, but one of the most fruitful, substantive and charismatic meetings. There is one more hug in what has been a long lineup of hugs between these two leaders. These live images playing out from Tel Aviv. And there you have Prime Minister Modi now ascending the stairway to Air India 1 as he gets set to take off from Tel Aviv, from Munich, to attend the G20 summit. I want to bring in Gaurav Sawant. I'm just going to check if we have any sound in this live video that we're getting from Tel Aviv. I'm just going to ask our producer if we can put some sound up on these visuals. Okay, we can't hear very much, unfortunately. Unlike when Prime Minister Modi actually landed, we can't hear very much of this final conversation as the two leaders actually get set to say bye. Let's go straight across now to Tel Aviv. India Today's Padmaja Joshi is on the ground there. She's been bringing us all the fabulous sights in this truly charismatic 3 days with Indian Prime Minister in Israel. Padmaja, 3 days, I'm sure you aren't going to forget many of the things you saw, as are many of the people who've been tracking this story. What an amazing display of bonhomie, camaraderie and friendship, not just between the two countries, but between these two charismatic leaders as they shake hands and say goodbye, Padmaja.
Absolutely, and from the beginning to the end, this trip has had moments, Shiv, and as someone yourself who has covered innumerable trips, meetings by the Prime Minister, I wonder if you've ever seen two heads of state, interact with each other in this fashion. From the time that they went to Olga Beach and they got into the water together, to the time that you had the Prime Minister of Israel reaching the airport to first receive his good friend Miriam Chedos, to then seeing him off. All of this has been 3 days of an unprecedented kind of engagement between the two heads of state. But that being said, in these 3 days, the Indian Prime Minister has managed to pack in quite a bit of business, right from the 7 agreements that have been signed on various issues to today, in fact, where he rounded off his trip with a meeting with CEOs in Israel. In fact, this forum met for the first time, incidentally, Shiv, and they have now set a target to increase the bilateral trade to $20 billion. Currently, it stands somewhere around $5 billion, so it's supposed to quadruple, and the target they've set is in the next 5 years. So it would be with a lot of satisfaction that the Prime Minister looks back at this visit. The key things that he would have aimed at, whether it be getting a commitment on the issue of combating terrorism, addressing that issue on an international stage, to second, reaching out to the Indian community here, and third, managing to set a target for getting more and more money and investment into India. It's
really, really amazing to see what these two individuals have achieved. It's personality driven, it's mutual respect and honor driven between these two countries. One a tiny country, the other a huge subcontinent. But what amazing synergy, what amazing friendship these two statesmen have displayed for their countries over the last 72 hours. Padmaja, thanks for the moment, for joining us. I want to go across now to Gaurav Sawant, executive editor, who's been tracking each and every minute of this amazing visit by the Indian Prime Minister to Israel over the last 3 days. Gaurav, so many takeaways to count from this particular visit. Substantive agreements, both in the spheres of space, in agriculture, in manufacturing, in defense as well. But really, the big takeaway is going to be the effortless friendship that the two leaders have demonstrated, and it's going to be an unforgettable symbol, is it not, Gaurav, of how the two countries plan to hold hands and move into the future?
Spot on there, Shiv. Apart from the relationship between the two countries to benefit each other, how will the two engage in Africa? And that is again a place, Shiv, where perhaps in the times to come, there would be the big game. So it's not just China that is going to increase its influence or try and increase its influence in Africa, but there's India that's there to counter it. Again, now this will be very interesting because China and Israel are huge defense partners, and India and Israel are massive defense partners. So it's a very, very interesting situation that's going to pan out in the months and the years to come. But the personal relationship between Benjamin Netanyahu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, how will that pan out? One, in India's war on terror, and two, in fields like water management and agriculture, which is extremely, extremely critical and crucial for India's vast requirement for water, will be extremely interesting, Shiv.
Absolutely. It's going to be very interesting. I mean, apart from the visit itself, the aftermath, what's going to happen between the two countries going forward, so interesting to anticipate the effects, the impacts, the fallout of this amazing, charismatic visit. Gaurav, thanks for the moment. Let's take our viewers now through some of the things that happened between Prime Minister Modi and Netanyahu today. What stood out on this last day of his visit was the Prime Minister at the Haifa cemetery, where he paid homage to Indian soldiers who were killed during World War I. This was followed by his visit to a beach in Haifa, where Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Netanyahu shared some unforgettable TV moments. Take a look.
We're alive. We're here on the beach. Two friends, India, Israel, and we went on a jeep.
Bonding by the beach. Sharing laughs. After all, it shouldn't be all work, no play. On the last day of his visit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Israeli counterpart Benjamin Netanyahu spent the afternoon at the Olga beach. Prime Minister Modi left Jerusalem for Haifa on the last day of his Israel visit. As soon as the Modi-Netanyahu duo landed in Haifa, it was yet another glimpse into their budding friendship. The Israeli Prime Minister paving way for Prime Minister Modi to meet the pilot. The two then visited the Haifa cemetery to pay homage to Indian soldiers who were killed during World War I. Prime Minister Modi laid wreath at the cemetery. And unveiled a plaque commemorating Major Dalpat Singh, a World War I hero. Serious business done, it was time to head to the beach and take a few pictures. Next on the agenda, a desalination plant, where Prime Minister Modi viewed a demo of the technology pioneered by Israel for desalination of seawater. The two leaders could barely contain their excitement.
We're alive. We're here on the beach. Two friends, India, Israel, and we went on a jeep. But it's a future jeep. Prime Minister, it's a pleasure to have you.
I'm very, very thankful to Bibi because the vehicle which I saw today, particularly in the natural calamity, when people are suffering for the drinking water, this is the very unique type of vehicle which can provide a drinking water and how to do the process. It's a very, very simple way. I'm sure this is a unique product.
Hugs, handshakes, cheers. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's historic visit to Israel will be an affair to remember for years to come. With Padmaja Joshi in Jerusalem, Bureau Report, India Today.